What's up, Buckeye Nation? You're tuned in to the Buckeye Cast, coming at you loud and proud, bringing strong opinions and salty humor to Ohio State football. These fellas were born and bred in the Buckeye State, and their brand of banter is guaranteed to entertain and excite you. But if you're not a Buckeye, don't bother. Visit us at thebuckeyecast.com and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at The Buckeye Cast to stay up to date on all things Ohio State football. And be sure to subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Now here's your host, Joe Warwick.
Welcome in again, Buckeye fans. Thank you for joining us. I got Shawn here on the other line. He is in the Middle East of Japan.
That's the Far East.
Oh. A big geography.
And I'm on the West Coast.
Oh, nice. As you know, you can subscribe to us on the Buckeye Cast, any podcast app, and you can visit thebuckeyecast.com. You can follow us on, remember, any social media platform ever made except for MySpace.
Damn it.
At the Buckeye Cast. They still have MySpace in Japan?
I don't know. I got MySpace. I mean, my personal space.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Thank you.
Consider yourself one of the lucky ones, I guess.
It's not very much of a space. This hotel room's small as shit. But it's mine.
So anyway, we appreciate Henry taking time out of his schedule to call in and get this podcast out this week as we prepare for Maryland. As you know, you can always look for our TBC Extra Points in your podcast feed. We usually try and get them out Sunday or Monday. Ish. So anyway, we'll go ahead. What we're going to do is we're going to run through our usual gamut of bullshit. We're going to recap last week's game versus Rutgers and the shutout. Then we'll talk about beating the Terps, and then we'll give you our microscopes. And again, Big Ten Network, get off my fucking patented microscopes. And we'll give you our Vegas odds and our predictions. And we do have one Twitter question this week, a good one. So we'll be sure and answer that at the end of the show. So stay tuned to that. So starting off, let's recap this Rutgers game. As you all know, you can catch most of these details in our extra points, but we'll rehash some of them quickly. So Henry, what did you think about the closer to balanced offense overall? Again, over 600 yards. They went over 300 passing, almost got 300 rushing. Is this kind of what you want to see out of the offense?
Well, against Rutgers, I certainly expect to see that. If I don't, then I'm a little bit disappointed, frankly. I mean, Rutgers is, number one, they're awful. Number two, they're kind of banged up in their secondary and in that back. So if we didn't put up some passing numbers, it would have been a giant red flag for me. So I think we did all right in that regard, and I give them a solid B on the effort. Defense, I give them an A. You throw up the goose egg.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you got to do to Rutgers.
Yeah,
really doink the field goal.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then everybody celebrated. And Booker had that nice pick in the first half when they were down inside the red zone that turned that drive around. So otherwise, they probably could have gotten another field goal up there. But I thought once again JT was extremely accurate. 3 TD passes, got in, got out pretty quick. That dime that he dropped on fucking Benjamin Victor was fucking sweet. Working some of those downfield passes. How'd you feel about JT's performance?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm not, I guess, sold on it as you are. You know, the long throw to the wide open receiver, was that Dixon out there? Mm-hmm. I mean, Dixon's waiting on it forever. Like,
well, he was scrambling, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But, you love that Ben Vick ball. I actually think we should throw more of those balls. They're jump balls. Ben Vick has an obviously advantage on those with his frame, 6'4". But I don't know. I wonder if you can pull that off against top end corners and not the second string of Rutgers. So
sure.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Oh, I like that words. So, JT had 10 carries for 90 yards. It's a solid average.
I love that one run. It looked like the old JT, the first one where he bumped
Yeah.
through there for, I don't know how long that one was, but
Right. What do you think you're seeing a few playmakers emerge out of the wide receiver core with Dixon and Victor and McLaurin?
yeah, to me, McLaurin looks like, I forget how many receptions he had, but
5.
he seemed to start being, a reliable guy outside of the, penalties and stupid shit.
Yeah.
He looks like he's playing hard.
Yeah. Quickly on the penalty, I guess that guy for Rutgers cheap shotted him earlier in the game, and I guess McLaurin has a little temper that he carried throughout the game, and that was his payback when he cleaned that dude's clock on the sideline. I still didn't see the targeting, even though they reversed the targeting call. It wasn't close enough to me. He just cleaned the guy,
I get it. I know you're pissed off out there. The guy went at your knees earlier, whatever he did to piss McLaurin off. But you know what? You got to be above it, I feel like, in that situation. And, against Rutgers, it doesn't matter. But if that's the type of mentality you're having and you can't get it out of your head, I mean, basically the other team's trying to get into your head. They're trying to fuck you up. So if you can't get that out of your head, McLaurin, and play smart football when we're playing these better teams, it worries me. Discipline. Keep it.
Yeah, he definitely needs to control his emotions and stuff, and he comes off as a very soft-spoken, even-keeled guy off the field.
I feel KJ Hill's got a little bit of that in him too, and it's concerning.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't cost the team anything, a turnover or a significant penalty like that, you got to play with some edge.
I'm with you, cheap shot motherfuckers.
So, offense is probably a good idea to limit JK's carries and get him out of there quickly. Weber had the 3 touchdowns, was rewarded, as Herb said, for his rehab and taking time to get back into the fold. He seemed to be running pretty well.
I don't know. Best running back I seen on Ohio State this last weekend was my man, Mario McCall.
Run DMC.
That's right.
Yeah. He had over 100 yards. The only person to run for over 100 last week. He
I got to say that catch from Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah,
that's the type of stuff I'm looking for right there.
Yeah, he showed off those wheels.
That linebacker was like, oh shit.
Yeah, he showed off those wheels a couple times. I like how hard he was running. He was lowering his shoulder into guys.
I noticed that too.
Man, take it easy, dude.
He was running hard, looking like a little Curtis Samuel to me, man.
Yeah. So I mentioned Booker earlier. He had a nice breakout game, I guess you could say, with the pick and the sack. About time. But Baker's still buried on the stat sheet with just 2 tackles. I don't know. I know he didn't play the full game, but still, I don't even see him out there. He's like a fucking ghost.
But I looked at snap counts. He does get more snap counts at linebacker than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if they're keying on him, playing away from him, like you can't go at this guy.
Right.
I haven't rewatched the game or studied it that closely, but yeah, I'm with you. From last year's, he stood out there.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy on defense, like, oh my gosh, who's this guy? And now, he's kind of a little bit buried in there.
Yeah, you got to wonder what's going on, whether it's him or the scheme or what. I really don't know. But brighter side of the news is good to see Jordan Fuller out there. He's cemented himself as the starter at the other safety spot.
I was just going to say that he's the guy you're kind of noticing out there in that back end. It's like, man, this guy's everywhere making tackles.
Yeah, Herb said he's playing at a very high level right now, and since Eric Smith kind of demoted himself with some off-the-field issues, I think it sounds
What happened there?
I think it's classroom stuff, classroom-related, so Herb just said he has to handle his business. So I think either way, though, Jordan Fuller was going to take over that spot because Eric Smith really wasn't doing a lot that I noticed. So
Yeah, no, I was glad to see Fuller do well. I always had a soft spot for Eric Smith, Glenville boy, but
yeah,
battling through injuries and when you're going through the injuries and stuff, guess what? You got to put out harder than anybody else, and that means not just to practice, but in the classroom, everything. This is your shot. Take it.
Yeah. So another sore spot for me, just in watching the game and then looking at the stat sheet again, is the penalties. Man, we are racking up some fucking penalties every game. I'm talking like 8 to 10. They may not show up, when you're watching the game so much, but it's one of my concerns and one of those things I harped on last year, and I'll go back to it again. This isn't an extremely young team. It's relatively young, but we returned a lot of starters, and we're still over 100 yards of penalties. 10 of them.
Yeah. Well, 30 of that's on one play for McLaurin, though.
Yeah, I understand that, but the number of penalties, though, is still okay. You give 2 to McLaurin, that's still 8 penalties. That's really frustrating, and it's one of those things that you got to get cleaned up before you start playing real competition.
Absolutely.
So maybe it's one of those things to work on. Another area.
What's the average on like college football teams? What's like acceptable? Like 4 to 5?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I'll get back to you on that. Anything else on Rutgers you wanted to cover?
No, just Chris Ash's face that whole game.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I like some Chris Ash, but
yeah,
man, he's got that scowl the entire game. Just like, what the fuck happened to me?
I like to call it the perpetual hemorrhoid face. That's just how I see it. Let's see. Average penalties per game. Lowest is 3.33 this year. And I got 6 at the highest.
For average.
Average per game, yeah. Wait a second. That's page 1. Sorry. Page 3. 10. 10.67 is the highest.
So, I mean, and I guess that's a little bit of a tainted stat in that, you probably want to be around 5. It's not a terrible day, but it's, I guess, when they come, right? Are they critical? Did you keep have a lot with something stupid on third down on defense, or put yourself, you hold when you shouldn't have, or block in the back when you shouldn't have. And
the targeting, we had the 2 targeting calls just in that game alone. Jason Wint had the other one in the second half, so he'll be suspended for the first half of this game against Maryland.
Yeah, I thought that was fair. I'm going to go ahead and give him a targeting on that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fair call.
So on the penalties, just to finish that up, Buckeyes are 97th in the country. They average 7.4 per game. Not real good.
Yeah.
So let's get into these Terps. Let's talk about beating some turtle ass. So anyway, we know what Maryland does. Crab cakes and football, right?
That's what I'm told.
Yeah. Let me know when they get into the football. They do have the ugliest fucking flag in the Union. Have you noticed their flag? And they have it.
I don't know about
they're spattered.
They got the ugliest helmet.
It's their fucking flag. They have it splattered all over their uniforms. It's the most disgusting thing. There's no blue in it at all. So are you even part of the United States? Because you got the red and the white, but then you got this yellow and black. And it's disgusting. I can't look at them. And they flaunt it everywhere. Them and the Baltimore Ravens. I don't get it. What would Maryland ever do for anybody?
Yeah, I don't. That might be the ugliest helmet in all of college football. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to work on that.
Well, it gives people something to talk about with Maryland, though, because there's not a whole lot else.
Yeah, there's nothing on field, I guess. Anyway, crab cakes and football. Let's talk about this game, 4 o'clock on Fox. Terps are coming in here at 3-1. Week 1, they beat Texas, so that's saying something. But then they lost to UCF. So
and that's saying something.
Yes. And then they just beat Minnesota. I watched a little bit of that game over the weekend. It was kind of a ho-hum kind of game. But how do you see that Texas win? You think that really mean a lot, or was Texas not quite together as they should have been?
Well, I mean, Texas gave USC everything they wanted. It was the first game for Texas. I feel that Maryland is becoming a middle tier Big Ten team, at least in the East. I think they're better than maybe not the Purdue's are getting better too, but the Illinois and some of these other schools out there. So they went to Minnesota, if I'm correct, and beat them there. Yeah. Beat Texas, but then you lose to UCF. I don't know. UCF sometimes is pretty good. I haven't really followed it if they're a solid team this year, or not. But it's Maryland. I think they're a middle team. They're going to play football against you. They're getting better. I think Durkin's a solid coach, and the program's definitely trending in the right direction. They're not there. Yeah, they have not arrived.
Definitely not. They did go in there and beat the oars off of that boat. Herb did say the other day, and he's going to always hype up the other team and get a little hyperbolic about it and maybe a little over the top. But he did say about DJ Durkin that he was, of all the guys he's had, he's one of the top 2 or 3, and he's one of my favorite coaches we've ever had, one of the best coaches. He was with Herb in Florida. I think he was in his late 20s or something like that at Florida. So
that's classic Urban Meyer right there. I mean, he's got 20 of the guys that are the best 3 ever.
Exactly.
Players and coaches. One of the best guys I've ever been around.
It's a moving top 3. It slides around. So anyway, as we all know, if you don't, now you will. Maryland is on their 3rd string quarterback, something named Bordenschlager. Sounds like something you get in a deli at a restaurant or something. I don't know.
Oh, it sounds like a good German beer or something. The Bordenschlager.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I'll take 2.
Fraulein. So, the first 2 guys got blown out in those rugged games against Towson and UCF. So, they're averaging 400 yards of offense, though. So that's a bright spot. But then they're giving up almost 400 on defense. So again, I think we talked about this last week with Rutgers. They're very balanced in their offense and defense, but not in a good way.
Right.
So they're kind of run focused. Obviously, with a 3rd string quarterback, you're going to rely on other players to move the ball, and they struggled. The quarterback struggled to sense pressure against UCF. So that could spell trouble for him.
How many starts does this new guy
have? Good question. Next question. I'm not sure. I would say 2 at the most. I think he came in the UCF game. UCF.
So he's 3rd string. Well, a guy got hurt and another suspended, or they both got hurt in front of him?
Both got hurt. Yeah. Bad luck for the Terps. So, we'll see. When I read struggle to sense pressure against UCF, I immediately think that this guy's going to get killed, and they better have a 4th and a 5th string in there. Maybe, I don't know, start ripping some red shirts off of guys. I don't know. Maybe there's a running back that can just run Wildcat all day. But
if you're red shirt to Maryland, you're not that good.
Right. They're going to have to do something because I don't see this guy. If this guy cannot sense pressure in the pocket and is just going to be standing back there like a sitting duck, they're going to fucking kill him.
Yeah, but Durkin's not going to allow that. They're going to do the Indiana, basically what everyone's been doing to us,
Yeah.
Quick drops, quick throws, get it out.
I think they're going to try and run the ball at us.
Yeah, I do too, but when it comes to pass plays, they're not going to have him back there sitting in the pocket. If anything, I don't know this guy's mobility, or maybe they run him out and will chase his ass down.
Yeah.
But they're not going to, especially on your third string. I mean, at some point you got to start protecting your quarterback.
Definitely, yeah. I think they just in a perpetual 2 tight ends and 1 running back stays in the block kind of formation on offense every play. Max protect.
Pass pro, double tights.
Yeah. Max
fullback.
Yeah.
You got 1 receiver, everybody else keep the D line off.
Exactly. So, injury update. There have been a few changes to the 2 deep due to injury. We got Antonio Williams, running back. He's out again this week. So get ready to see a lot of DeMario McCall again. I won't complain about that. Yeah. Bring that shit. And we got Draymond Jones out again. Last week they had Jalen Holmes playing a little bit of the 3 technique in there for Draymond. Ja'Shawn Cornell and Haskell Garrett also got quite a bit of playing time at the D tackle. Tyquan can also fit in there. Larry Johnson mentioned yesterday that Tyquan and Jalen Holmes can both play that 3 technique if called upon.
Tyquan seems like he's got a more the size better to play that 3 technique.
Yeah.
Holmes, to me, he's lankier, and
yeah.
I thought I read something that DJ Durkin even called out Jalen Holmes, and I think Jalen Holmes among our rotating monsters at the end is gets a little less praise than the Hubbards and Bosa's and Tyquan Lewis, but Jalen Holmes is a force, man.
Oh yeah, you can't forget about him if you're an offense. So yeah, I do agree. Tyquan has that wider frame and carries it pretty well. Again, we touched on Eric Smith earlier. He will not play this week. They haven't called it a suspension officially, but you're in the doghouse, I guess, kind of title.
Yeah, and that when you were basically neck and neck in a battle with an underclassman, and you just go in the doghouse. Good luck getting out. I hope you do, Eric, but a lot of work in front of you.
Yeah, this is week 6, by the way, we're going into. Chris Worley is probable to return this week from a sprained foot. Tuff Borland is listed with the OR designation. So we'll see a lot of Tuff Borland and Baron Browning even. I'm sure of it. I'm interested to see Borland going against different offenses. We saw him a lot in the Army game. And we saw a bit of him last week, but Browning played quite a bit last week.
Yeah, you saw a lot of those young linebackers in there last week. It was great to see.
Yeah. And then getting back to the 2 deep, just to polish that off, Sean Nurenberger has been moved to kickoffs. So the freshman has been demoted from kickoffs, and Nurenberger is doing the kickoffs and field goal. So not sure what that spells for us. Just get it inside the fucking 5. Is that so hard? I mean, Jesus. I think
and if we're not going to do it consistently, then fuck it, kick it to the end zone.
I could have swore he had one where he kicked it out of bounds on the sideline again. I'm like, Jesus Christ. At least kick it to the middle of the field if you can get some distance on it. But
that's Herb's thing, though. You get it down in that left corner.
I know.
And, when they catch it inside the 5, make it land there at the 2-yard line.
Right.
We're all over that shit.
Yeah, nobody's getting past the 20. You're
lucky to get it back to the 15.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's great, but we got to have consistency out of that kickoff guy. That's been Herb's. I bet he stays awake at night thinking about that shit for the last couple.
If he doesn't, Jim Trussell does.
I know I do. And Mike Hill is still suspended. Still no update on that. Herb's just been going week to week and telling the media he's out this week. So this will be game number 6, and that's a typical suspension for something relatively serious, drug test or whatever.
So I don't know what if he's suspended and hasn't played this year, can he get a red shirt? Or has he already been redshirted?
I don't know if
probably
he
wouldn't give it to him. If you're in the doghouse, everybody will be like, fuck you. And
yeah, I don't know what the protocol is there. If he's already had one, definitely not. But if he hasn't, I don't know why you wouldn't redshirt him,
Right.
I think that he'll play him once the suspension's over officially, at least in Herb's mind. So
I hope so. That kid's tough.
Yeah, he's real good. He actually was on some preseason draft boards, so for the NFL. So I don't know what's going on there, but if he can play half a season and get some good tape, maybe he can still make the league next year. One side note on Saturday's game is this will mark the 200th game for Urban Meyer as a head coach. He is the winningest active coach in college football. Forget fucking Saban, and don't even bring Dabo to the table. He's 169-30, which gives him an 849 winning percentage, and he owns his former assistants.
Not too shabby.
So let's get into our microscopes. That is copyrighted Big Ten Network. Stay off my microscopes.
They're going to copyright it and sue your ass.
Right. Dickheads.
Go to the tape.
They would, too. So who do you have your microscope on this week on offense?
Oh, offense, I got my guy. Finally, so happy to see Run DMC back out there. Mm-hmm. So I expect this game to get away from Maryland again. And I kind of feel that we've been holding DeMario McCall back this year, kind of eased him back in from injury. And he's going to be a major role on this team, not just in garbage time when Weber and Dobbins are out, but you're going to see him. I like the fact that when he's out there, he's making all the plays. And I love Paris Campbell too, but gosh, it seems like Paris drops the ball. And he did a couple more times. Dude. Where DeMario Call, comes down to those catches that are, that one down the sideline. I feel like if that was Paris, that would have through the hands, and that would be it.
That's why I had my microscope on him last week.
Oh, who, Campbell?
Yeah, and he lived up to the hype.
You don't need a microscope on him; it's like a glaring friggin'.
He is the spotlight.
I got D-Mac on my offensive. On defense, going with who we touched on earlier, Fuller. Okay, you just you're anointed. It's your spot, and you looked great last week. Let's see if you can keep it up and make some plays in that backfield. I feel like we're solid in the D backfield, but I want that difference maker, that Malik Hooker type of dude back there, and I'm hoping Fuller can be it.
Nice. So you want to see back-to-back games of performance from him, not just once a year or once a full blue moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you're the guy. Now you know you're not coming off. So instead of facing adversity on the sideline, you're going to have to handle it when you're out there on the field, and you're not coming off. So see how he deals with it.
Well, my microscopes are similar, but different. I'm focused on, at the running back position, a two-headed monster. I think this week Herb rolls out the two-headed monster of Weber and Dobbins, a.k.a. Thunder and Lightning, if you want to call him that. But I think we need to get a week or two of working these guys in together, because Herb said Monday that he's going to play his best 11 on offense, and those two are two of the 11. So that says there will be a two-headed monster at running back and both on the field at the same time. So I want to see how that plays out and how they're going to work this together. And then on defense, I'm kind of liking Jeffrey Okudah. I think he needs to work more into the rotation and maybe make that a four-man rotation. I know Sheffield's gotten better. They cut down on the defensive pass interference penalties and shit, but I want to see Okudah get some more meaningful snaps, not just in the second half of these blowouts. I think he can be a playmaker. Flying below the radar kind of guy right now.
Yeah.
So let's get to our predictions. Buckeyes favored by 31. Over-under is 58.5. So once again, they expect Ohio State to do all the heavy lifting. Similar to the Rutgers game. Got no help on that over-under, if you took the over.
And you did?
Yeah. Buckeyes had to do it all alone.
Yeah.
Going to need a little bit more than 56 points this week. What do you have for your final?
Yeah, I think Maryland is a step above Rutgers. I do expect still the game to get away from them, and probably fairly early. But I don't. First time in a couple weeks, I'm keeping the Buckeyes under the 50-point threshold. I got us 48-10.
Okay. So still covering, but the under. Okay. I like that score. I'm thinking similar, but I think we still hit 50 because I don't think their offense is going to be able to do jack shit against our defense, especially with a third-string quarterback. They're going to have massive success running the ball to keep the ball out of our hands. So I'm going to go not quite 56, but I'm going to go 52-7. I think they get in the end zone on us and some garbage time. Somebody falls down on a fade route or something.
Well, yeah, it's interesting you say that they've got a controlled ball running or whatever, and I don't have the stat in front of me, but I feel like in the last couple games that they've all been blowouts. We actually are behind in time of possession, so we're just marching down, scoring quick, and these guys are all trying to slow the game down, chewing up the play clock, and not that they're getting a ton of yards, but they're just they're like, gosh, give our guys a rest. We don't want to get blown out 75-3. Yeah,
we have seen the offense slow down the tempo a little bit to give the defense a breather. So especially if the other team's gone on a long drive, they'll slow the tempo down a little bit. But I just don't think they're going to have enough playmakers to move the ball on us.
I'll be disappointed if a third string Maryland quarterback throws north of 250. I'm going to be a little irritated by that.
So let's get to our Twitter question for this week. Comes from our guy Jason at Jason33887. His question is: are the Buckeye fans falling too hard for the recent success of the OSU offense against the recent cupcakes? Hashtag I am not. Okay.
Hashtag Jason, you're an oracle. I'm not either.
Nice.
I like the direction that it's heading. It looks good. It's some games that we needed, frankly. It's tough to polish it all up when you're playing Michigan or Penn State or Michigan State type teams. So I'm with you. But I don't know if the fan base is that much, hey, our offense is so great and JT Barrett is just so awesome. It's certainly progressing in the right direction. So that being said, I think everybody in Buckeye Nation is hopeful that we continue that trend. And, you're working at game speed. These last 2 weeks have been, unbelievable offensively for us. And, again, if it continues this week, I think now we're getting into an Indiana-style team, a mid-tier Big Ten team. It'd be a little bit better test for us. And you go on from there. So I'm not buying the hype so much that we've arrived on offense, but things are definitely looking up. And again, I think maybe we needed the Oklahoma and some of that to kind of shine the spotlight on it to say, hey, we got some shit we got to fix here. And I think they're going about it the right way.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely seeing an improvement. I mean, you can only play who you play. You know what I'm saying? So you can only go out there and beat somebody so badly on offense. So I'm in a similar boat as you guys, but I have seen improvements. I think
certainly.
I think the deep ball has shown vast improvement from what we saw last year. Play calling has definitely improved from week 2, the Oklahoma game, to now. So it's just a matter of,
looks like the receivers are playing tougher,
Yeah, a little bit more of an attitude, more of an edge. And guys, I think playmakers are really starting to emerge. I think we're going to, at the end of the season, look back at the beginning of the year and wonder, why couldn't this guy have emerged quicker, like, say, a Johnny Dixon or Ben Victor or somebody, that is going to be a stud at the end of the season. We're going to say, man, I wish he would have started that season a little faster,
Yeah.
But I think it's happening. It's just a slower pace when we have we have 2 new coaches in the offensive staff. We've got new players that are trying to gel in, and just a lot of moving parts, And the offensive line still had to improve from last season as well. So there's so many components and moving parts. I think that it's getting close, though. It's better, definitely not where it needs to be, but definitely buy stock in the Buckeye offense.
Yeah, they good.
Well, that's our show this week, folks. Thank you for joining us as always. As you know, hit us up on your favorite podcast app. Smash that subscribe button. Leave us a review if you'd like, preferably a 5-star. Visit thebuckeyecast.com and always hit us up on all the social media platforms except MySpace at the Buckeye Cast.
And last shout out at least to my buddies in Michigan, my Spartan buddies. Go Green. Come on, fucking take down. I want to see Harbaugh's fucking head explode.
Where is that game? Which crappy Michigan city is it in?
Yeah, it's at the Toilet Bowl.
Oh.
The big shit house.
Okay. Well, I'll have to
an uphill battle for him, but, D'Antonio might be able to pull it out of his ass.
Nice. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to take everything they got.
For sure.
But good luck, Sparty. But anyways, yeah, and don't forget to look for our TBC Extra Points coming out Sunday, Monday-ish, whenever. What's your schedule like, Henry? How long are you in Japan for?
I'll get back Sunday, so got the game DVR'd.
Nice.
I would normally say, hey, don't text me the results, but it's Maryland. I don't give a fuck. I know we're going to win, so you can text me anything you want, and I'm going to watch it when I get home.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Have a good vacation, Henry.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Domo. Later.
Peace.
It's fun time.